Do you think, though, if we could transition to like the conversation we're more comfortable with, I don't think he should play Lobo in Superman Legacy.
I see. So okay, so you've been
This is the
on
part of the article I care about.
so you've been on such a tear when like you introduced me, and you always say I'm a whatever aficionado, and I like don't like that person, or like I'm not a fan or a supporter. Jason Momoa, I support, but God damn it, I don't want him as Lobo in Superman Legacy.
No.
I don't want him even anywhere near this film. I want this to focus on the new era of DC, the first official film in the DCU with their titular, whatever, the main freaking superhero in this universe, right? With our new Superman, who isn't the biggest star in Hollywood, but maybe an up and comer, clearly, and maybe a huge star, potential A-lister here, who we've never really seen before. And if you just throw Jason Momoa here in the mix with a character we don't really know, then you're kind of taking that away from us. And you're taking away this fresh start for the DCU with a memory of the DCEU. And I just don't think that's the way you want to go about it. If you're going to do a Lobo project, which I think Jason Momoa would be good for, looks the part for sure, and I think he has the acting chops to do it, I just don't want it to be even the DCU. I'd rather do it like as a side project, like in DC Elseworlds. I just don't want him a part. I'd rather get all the DCU EU characters out of the DCU. I don't want them a part of it.
You know what I think would work is if Lobo had its own series that'd be similar to Peacemaker. To me, that is the vibe you're looking for a Lobo type of project. I understand people might want to see him in Superman Legacy because Superman Legacy is kind of established that they're going to introduce some lesser known heroes like a Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, like a Mr. Terrific. Like you're going to have these smaller scale characters introduced. Then you might say, oh, why can't you introduce Lobo, who's like a D level like anti-hero? But then you combat that by saying, but Jason Momoa is playing him. Right. And that is someone that is tightly connected with the DC Extended Universe. You're going to have literally the last DC Extended Universe movie being Aquaman and the Last Kingdom. And then the first one of the DCU, Superman Legacy. So that's just going to be a point of people like, are we going backwards here? And it feels like from this article, they're wiping the slate clean. Like those characters that from the DCEU, those heroes from those Justice League members, they are not returning. So I think you got to let it breathe a little bit. I would love Momoa in a series, a Peacemaker, almost like foil type of series, or maybe you have like season 1 of Lobo, and then he somehow like matches up with Peacemaker later on. Who would say no to like John Cena and freaking Jason Momoa on screen together? I know that their power sets don't really match or anything like that, but it's just like those two guys, they're like the Bash brothers if they're on screen together. Like that's what I just imagine with those two. But I like especially people saying like Lobo to be the villain of Superman Legacy. Get the F out of here. We're not no. We got to start this on the right foot here. You got to have a formidable villain for Superman that's in quote unquote year 2.
Yeah, and like I understand like if people were like, oh, like this isn't a prime Superman. He's just like he knows his powers. He's just became Superman. So we can't like just throw Lex Luthor or one of the big wigs at him, A-list villains as Superman in this first movie. But we can't be doing a Lobo. Like we need to get a little better, get the juices flowing a little bit. And again, when you throw an A-list, Jason Momoa, A-lister, I don't know, just well-known commodity here in Hollywood. You can't just be doing that when you have freaking David Cornsweet taking on the mantle in his first big project that he's helming, in anything, let alone Superman. You can't just throw Jason Momoa, who we just saw in Fast X, take over the ensemble cast of Vin Diesel and
just
all these other.
Screen.
Yeah, like we can't do that. Like that's just idiotic. And we already have quite the ensemble coming up for Superman Legacy, like you mentioned, with the Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific. Like we can't be just adding names just to add names. It doesn't excite us. We just want a good movie. Quality prevails, especially when you don't have anything to back it up, which is DC right now. You really got to set up a clean slate and set up that you are aiming for quality, not quantity with all these characters. You really have to start fresh. And that's why Jason Momoa should not be anywhere near Superman Legacy.
Jason Momoa would be chomping on the screen. He's going to leave David Cornsweet crumbs if he's in that goddamn movie, and he's playing a D-list type of character. That's why he needs his own series. And if he's so passionate about it, make him a producer on the goddamn show. Make him an EP, whatever it may be. Let him have some control
Whatever
over
it
it.
takes.
James Gunn, you're a part of that too. See the magic you do with Peacemaker, do the same thing with Lobo in a series. I think that's the most logical next step for Momoa potentially in the DCU.